At the start of this week's episode of AEW Dynamite, we had a lot of recapping from Full Gear, the pay-per-view at the weekend, which is important to note. Credit where credit is due, because sometimes AEW didn't do that. And do you know what the theme of last night's episode was? The Continental Classic, which has begun. I just love this tournament. It's like real sports, for lack of a better term. You pick your favourite, and then your well-being will be affected by them for the next few weeks. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need with me, Simon Miller, the Bald Idiot. This is the finger of power, and when I like something, I will give it an up. When I don't like something, I will give it a down, and then we're just going to debate everything in the comments. When you are down there, you can subscribe. Are you ready for this? I hope so, because I'm not. Let's go. What a great way to kick off the C2 as well, because our first match was Okada taking on Carl Fletcher, which is Don Callis' family member, taking on Don Callis' family member. And do not forget that both lost at Full Gear, technically, and Okada never gets pinned, unless you're in the C2 with Carl Fletcher, and Okada was being a right dickhead to begin with, because he pushed the referee into the ropes, and Carl Fletcher was on the tippity top, so he basically hurt his groin, and Okada was like, please, don't disqualify me, because of course, not only would that mean he would have lost, but in the C2, like distractions and DQs, well, you can get fired from the company. Then about 2 minutes later, Carl Fletcher did it back to him. So even though they are in the family, they kind of hate each other. That makes me realize too, how the flub is the Don Callis family going to get together for Thanksgiving, which is going down right now. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving to you. Tony Schiavone also referenced the Okada Championship situation. I'm going to have to read this because it's so confusing, which is going to tie in. But he came out wearing the international title because the Continental title has been surrendered, because that's on the line during the finals of the C2, which will happen at the World's End. But it also means if Okada doesn't make it out of the group stage, he could lose the unified title too, because then, of course, he wouldn't be able to win one of those titles back. So listen, this is just way too confusing. It's 2 + 2 = potato, and it's like a Professor Layton puzzle. You shouldn't have to sit there and muck around with your DS as you try and figure something out. I'm just going to give it a down. Simple is always the best way with professional wrestling. And this one is like you have to be a scientist. I mean, Blitzball in Final Fantasy X wasn't as complicated as that was, and man, Okada took this massive sit-out powerbomb at one point, so he had his working shoes on, when he kind of went to use the referee once again, and Carl was like, no, I don't want that to happen. And then Carl Fletcher went for the brainbuster, but Okada raked his eyes, but it didn't matter, because when he went for the Rainmaker, Carl used the most devastating move. In all our sports entertainment surprise roll-up, he got the 1, 2, 3. He gets 3 points, and sure, Don Callis, who had been on commentary, was in the ring, and they did shake hands, and they probably will be okay. But when it comes to this Takeshita, well, he is absolutely going to fall out, and I presume the final will be Okada versus Takeshita, but I'm giving it an up. 1, it was just a fantastic match, but 2, I just love the fact there's no interference or any shenanigans, and I love that sort of stuff. When you know it can't happen, well, you wait till you get to one of our winners later. It surprised me in a good way. Let's get it up. Then got a clip for the Young Bucks match at the pay-per-view, and Excalibur told us because the Young Bucks had helped Kenny Omega, Josh Alexander and the Don Callis family got to keep the $1 million because the Young Bucks sacrificed it due to their treachery or something like that. My hand went straight into the air. Why do they get to decide? Where is AEW HR? They should be like, no, I'm sorry, Josh Alexander, there's your $500,000. But when it comes to your Young Bucks, here's your $500,000. Like, understand what we're doing. We're trying to add like there were emotional stakes involved. But that's the rules, man, or it's a crime. The Young Bucks should go to the police. Bless this Kenny Omega, though, because he then did an interview, and this was great. He was being asked, are you back together again? He was like, well, let's just wait and see. But at the same time, I cannot judge everybody else that does walk these corridors, because I, too, got screwed over by Don Callis before, and I walked the dark path. So if we can make up and do a bunch of hugs, well, that sounds great to me. And of course, the Young Bucks came out of his dressing room to tease this. So I'm giving that an up, so I thought he delivered it in a real, well, normal way, which sounds stupid, but I mean as a positive. But this $1 million thing, I can't get it out of my brain. It feels like a story plot hole. Why would Matt Nick Jackson not get their money? Also, it means they're still broke, so what they're going to do, giving it a down, they deserve the moolah. We then cut to the post-match promo from Mark Briscoe after Full Gear, and man, you should take 3 minutes out of your day to watch this. He essentially talked about the fact he had lost the most important thing in his life, which was Jay Briscoe, and he thought about quitting wrestling when he realized he can't do that. He has to carry on for the legacy of the Briscoe brothers, and now look, we did it. We got the TNT Championship, and this is for Jay Briscoe, and it's for his family. If you can watch this without water coming at your seeing devices, you're a stronger man than I. Let's just put him in a bunch of feuds and have him win, because he makes you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum, and that connection is what wrestling is all about. I'm getting it up. It ruled. When we got our non-stipulation women's tag team title semi-final match, And I am still a little bit miffed this is still going on after the C2 has also kicked off. But we talked about that last week, so we won't go through it again. And it was the Sisters of Sin. Is that what they're called? I get it wrong all the time. Julia Hart and Sky Blue taking on Willow Nightingale and Hari Cameron. And they just had a pretty good match. And yes, I know at one part, Julia Hart went for her moonsault and she missed. I thought it was quite funny because she looked around and just dropped an elbow to get a 1-2-ooh. This doesn't make her the worst wrestling of all time. She's not regressing as a talent, as some people are writing on social media. Everybody makes mistakes. And why, when somebody does make an error, do we just forget about all the successful moonsaults she did hit? We just need to calm it down. Much like in your life, sometimes you're going to be like, oh no, I put a 4 but I meant to put a 5. But you don't have millions of people watching you. She does. That's the only reason it is amplified. And as I always tell you, as a man that wrestles, she will go backstage and sit there and go, man, I didn't mean to do that. Because she knows she's not a fool. Also, it was quite funny because she did miss. There is some amusement to that. This is when Julia Hart and Sky Blue beat up Hari Cameron. When she got this funky tag to Willow Nightingale, who essentially ran wild. She punched a bunch of people in the face. When she hit with the babe with the powerbomb onto, I think it was Sky Blue, and she got the 1-2-3. There you go. They're going to the finals. So maybe we will get a face versus face there, because I think that Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa will go through too. And yes, listen, at the beginning there were some wibbly wobbly bits, as we have touched upon. But by the end, I thought they were rocking and rolling. And there is something to this Willow and Harley team. And if they do become the first ever tag team champions, that is going to make you feel good in your tootsie toes. I mean, it's a brand new belt, and then 2 people you like can actually showcase it. Sounds good to me. Giving it up. It's totally fine. When our new world champion was here, Samoa Joe, and that really wound up the internet, didn't it? And he wanted to discuss what had happened at the pay-per-view, and he was surrounded by his opportunity group. He also told Tony Schiavone to leave because he was a hillbilly, which is an interesting thing to say. When we cut to the parking lot, and not only did Prince Nana and Swerve Strickland get to the building, so somebody find them because they're late, but Hangman Adam Page was with them, so the enemies are together to take out the bigger enemy, but also they had weapons. It kind of felt like somebody should have called the cops. Samoa Joe totally ignored this though, because he wanted to lay out his plan like he was a James Bond villain, because Shibata had taken out Eddie Kingston. Powerhouse Hobbs is all strong and stuff, so he'd been like powerful and all that stuff. I mean, it's in his name. And as for Samoa Joe, well, let's watch the video, because him and Hook have come up with a plan. AEW absolutely have been planning this as well, because we saw the time when Hook said, maybe I'm with the opportunities and maybe I'm not. We saw all those times he did tap out very early, including one that allowed Samoa Joe to become the #1 contender. And even Samoa Joe saying to Hook, you can't be in the group right now because we only want 3 people, which was an absolute lie, but we will always have your back. So it was a ruse, man. They got us. And actually, I quite liked it. Well played, AEW. Planted the seeds. This bull didn't see it at all. Joe then called himself the greatest world champion in history, which very well may be true because he is brilliant, when he told Hook to come out, and he did to his weird entrance music, and he told us, let's carry on this theme, because I am the best second-generation wrestler to ever walk this earth, which is quite the claim. He was then going to tell us some more stuff when Swerve and Hangman interrupted. I was like, dude, not now. He's going to give us the why, Hook, why, and you just stole it away from us. As soon as they did that, Samoa Joe called out his dojo members, whatever the flub they're meant to be called. And of course, Hangman and Swerve totally killed them. And I mean, literally, because they had chains, they took a couple of these guys and they threw them over the top rope and they were hanging them. They were choking them. You got to put one on the crime counter. I don't think you're allowed to do that. I also don't know what this is. This is me punching a wall. Now, I did underline how insane these 2 people are, especially when they get together. They're like kids that shouldn't hang out. They wind each other up. And I really like the fact that we are doing this with Hook. Some people are like, man, why would he put a Hook? Well, we have to try, man. We have to see what he is going to do. And as long as he can cut that big promo at one point when he tells us why he did this, I understand we've got the clues, but I need to know why he hates Hangman Adam Page so much and why they would go to these lengths. I think it's a great reset for him, and you shouldn't just give up on a talent. There was a time everybody loved Hook. We just got to light a fire under his ass, and I know he can do it, but you got to give him, ironically, the opportunities. So I guess that's why he joined Samoa Joe's group. You've also got to assume that it is going to be Samoa Joe and Hook taking on Hangman Adam Page and Swerve at some point, which is a totally crazy match. And then surely that leads to a 3-way between them all. Because when you think about the past and the stories that would be there, well, that's actually pretty damn compelling. And Samoa Joe is the man at this. He can be like, hey, do you remember that time he burned down your house? I don't think you should like him. We also do need Page and Swerve to talk about this kinship, but I'm sure we'll get there as well. But as a way just to tell you the direction we are going in, I am going to give it an up. And this really is because Samoa Joe is so damn good, Swerve Strickland is so damn good, and Hangman Page is so damn good. Like, at the moment, they are the core of AEW when it comes to the men's main event scene, and they just do it so effortlessly. So I'm happy to wait and see and allow this to play out and give me some added depth. But as for now, I'm also excited about Hook. I think he can absolutely benefit from this. I am giving it an up and giving the belt to Joe. It's just so good here. I mean, he's a modern day ghost. We then got a quick video promo from Jon Moxley because he had lost to Kyle O'Reilly at Full Gear. He's like, man, sometimes we lose and sometimes we don't, but I am entering the C2. And the Death Riders were around him looking at him like, I think you're a bit of a waste of space these times, John. And it did tie in, so we got to another C2 match. It was Jon Moxley versus Mascara Dorada. Who ever thought they would see that? Actually, I thought it was very entertaining. We also made sure the Death Riders came out with Mox before they did go away because you're not allowed interference in the C2, and I enjoyed that visual. And mostly, Dorada went absolutely crazy here. He was flipping, he was flying, and at one point he hit the 450 splash, but Jon Moxley kicked out the 1-2 ooh. And we kind of did telegraph that Jonathan was going to him because, again, the masked man was just going absolutely crazy. But man, when he gets his stuff down, he flies like the wind. They're also using Sid with the Steel Steps and Barry Barricade, so clearly Dorada didn't care about potentially being disqualified, although the referee let it go. When he went for his shooting star press, this was a great finish. Moxley got his knees up, and almost so damn effortlessly, they transitioned into the choke. Mascara Dorada hadn't got his 8 hours, so he fell asleep, so Jon Moxley had clearly been watching his sleep schedule. Now, as we have talked about, I think people need to start tapping out to this. Not everybody has to go night-night. But I wouldn't say this was better than I was expecting, but I was intrigued to see how their styles would mesh, and actually, it once again just underlined why this C2 is so great. It came from nowhere, but it can come from nowhere because it's in a tournament. You should watch this. I liked it a lot. It felt different. There was actually some story after this as well, though, because as soon as Marina Shafir got in the ring, Toni Storm came out. She made me laugh twice, because she was like, I want to talk to your cave woman daughter, referencing Shafir, and also Jon Moxley, you really do like wearing cargo pants. He does. The issue she does have, though, is that she's been thinking about what this stipulation could be for her semi-final against Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne. And damn it, she can't come up with anything. When out came Mina Shirakawa, and I guess she was able to ponder on it. And her brain had stated it's going to be a holiday death match. Or essentially, they're going to beat each other up with weapons, and maybe Father Christmas and Santa Claus in the car going, ha ha ha, use a kendo stick. It just means no DQs, no countouts, no nothing, and you can go totally crazy. And actually, this kind of makes sense now I think about it, because if Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne do not get through to the finals, do you know what a great way to protect them is? Having something that is so damn gruesome. You're like, well, of course they failed. Who would actually be able to sustain that? Do need to say AEW maybe needs to take a break from the violence after this, just because Blood and Guts into Full Gear is one of the craziest weeks when it comes to the grotesque stuff we've had in a while. But this is okay. This is good. We'll wait and see the match, and I bet everybody goes crazy for it. But it also has now kind of made me feel that Tony and Mina will go to the finals, and that's an interesting match too, because again, it's babyface versus babyface, so you just pick a lane. When we made it very clear that Chris Statlander is an alien again, because she was cutting a promo and she said, I am the best champion in the galaxy. So she better hope that AEW Dynamite isn't broadcast in the universe somewhere, because if an alien hears this, they're absolutely going to land and be like, all right, mate, let's go. She's also seen the looks of surprise on some people's faces and nobody knows what she is going to do next. But let's look at what she has already done. She beat Toni Storm. She beat Mercedes Moné. She's become the women's champ. So if you don't think I'm kicking ass right now, well, that's on you. She knows where she is going next, though, because she has got all the confidence from this. And our main thing is just make sure she goes into a major feud straight away. And the cool thing is that a lot of people are actually preoccupied right now with things like the tag team tournament. So we should come up with a great foil for Chris Statlander and just make sure she can get knee-deep into a program. I am going to give it an up. I think she should probably start doing this stuff in front of the crowd because she's only going to get better in that sense. But it's working. And if we are trying to make a new proper top star in 2026, this is the way you do it. More C2 action after this, and this could have been the best thing that AEW did all evening, because it was Kevin Knight versus Darby Allin, and if you were a moron like me, you would have gone, well, there's no way Kevin Knight can win this, but we would have been totally wrong, and there was more story in here too, because the commentators kept telling us, this Darby Allin is not in a good way. 2 weeks ago, he was burned alive. And then, yes, at Full Gear, he got smacked in the head with a bat. Of course, these two fought all over the place, but they did get back in the ring, and Kevin Knight actually went for his UFO splash, but Darby Allin was able to get the code red instead. When, yeah, Kevin Knight just went super duper whooper crazy. He did get his UFO dive, and he pinned Darby for the 1, 2, 3. This genuinely made me look around my room again. I was totally surprised. And now in round one, we have told you, especially if you are new to the C2, anyone can win, anyone can lose. There are new interferences. And if you have gone and, set yourself on fire, that's probably going to cost you some points. I just love that AEW has the balls to do this, which is a silly word to use because it just reminds you don't always need shenanigans, and sometimes, of course, wins and losses do matter. But now I'm not like Darby's the worst wrestler ever because he couldn't get a win here. No, I'm pumped for Kevin Knight. The commentators did a great job going, it's the biggest day of his life, which it certainly is in terms of sports entertainment. I'm giving it an up, and honestly, I don't care what the brackets will be, I don't care what the matches will be. Anybody should be able to win, and anybody should be able to lose. That shouldn't affect their star power because it's just like real sports. All of wrestling should do more of this. It got me pumped, man. I mean, look at me, I've been a nerd. I got this cool video with FTR who reminded you they are the brand new tag team champions and that this title reign is going to be their legacy. So there are another couple of guys who need to make sure we get into a proper feud. When we cut to Eddie Kingston, basically when I don't really want to talk right now, I just want to kick Shibata's ass on Collision, and then he talked for a little bit too. I still think we need the big Eddie Kingston promo in the ring, which is like the 5th time I've said that on this episode of AEW Dynamite Ups and Downs. But listen, he does have enemies now, and as we know, sometimes Eddie likes to address his enemies. I keep my fingers crossed. Our main event was next, and again, it was our last C2 match of the evening, Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli. Two guys who I think are majorly underrated in the modern day wrestling game, and this too was just an absolute treat, especially off the back of Kenny Knight versus Darby Allin, because I was like, well, Orange always loses, and Claudio always loses, so they can both lose, one of them has to win, so damn it, I'm invested. Then Claudio picked up Orange and threw him into barricade because he's crazy. He also ducked the Orange punch at one point and just took Orange Cassidy's head off with a lariat. If you can actually take a head off a piece of fruit, that doesn't really make any sense. When Orange realized, I know how to beat you with the most devastating move. In all the sports entertainment surprise roll-up, it didn't work, but he also hit the beach break later for this great 1-2-ooh. When, he went for the Orange punch again. Claudio was like, nope. He gave him a proper old cigar uppercut. Orange was up in the air. He smacked him right in the mouth. He got the 1-2-3. So actually, it was a damn good evening for the Riders of Death. Renee was going to interview Claudio and Moxie after this as well because the Death Riders had come out there. But Wheeler Yuta was being an idiot, winding up Orange Cassidy. So he started to throw hands. So the Death Riders started to throw hands. When all of a sudden, a bunch of people in the C2, I think Kevin Knight was there, Mike Bailey, even Takeshita, they ran to the ring. Okada was watching it from the aisleway. And of course, the message here was, well, you think you know what's going to happen in this tournament. No, you don't, so maybe you better tune into Collision, because damn it, we're going to be having more C2 matches there. I suppose you could also take away that this could be teasing a Death Riders versus Don Callis family feud, which you can also do. And listen, sometimes AEW does kind of rely on the end of show brawl a little bit too much, but given that we wanted to inject some madness into this tournament, I am going to give it an up, especially because I thought that main event was great. Again, I'm just going to say it for a second time, Orange Cassidy in terms of modern day wrestlers is right up there, as is Claudio Castagnoli. I mean, those mother hubbards never have a bad match. So I really like this episode of Dynamite just because C2 gets me so damn pumped. I don't know what it is. I know other wrestling organizations do similar things, but I guess AEW takes it seriously. So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I better take it seriously as well. I am going to give it an up. It also allows AEW to feel so like AEW. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said, so let's just move on. And we can do that by you letting me know what you thought about the C2 in the comments below. When you are down there, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Ups and downs for a crazy episode of Monday Night Raw. And that Dominic Mysterio segment is on the screen right now. Otherwise, have delicious days, my friends. Now you can hate me for saying that. See you soon.